All right, welcome Rosa, welcome Marshall, Goldie, and our holy ones. How are we feeling today, Marshall? This is the last day of our Equinox ceremony.
Yeah, pretty exciting day because now we're we're ending a ceremony but beginning another ceremony, and that's with the water, the World Water Day, and a lot of people around the world had come together for World Water Day, and which is exciting for me. We initiated all this stuff way back in 2005, and it's grown and grown and grown. It's kind of like planting a seed and just watching it grow. That's what we're doing with the people's wave of love too. Is that we planted a seed and we're just watching it grow. And it's kind of like looking at a tree and the roots are down there and it's starting to branch up. We're creating a solid trunk, if you will. But yeah, I wanna thank everybody today for coming through the 5 days of energy field of our prayers, joining together, linking up wherever we are around the world. And I kept on thinking about New Zealand and all the different time zones that were ahead of us, and they've completed their journey, because today it's Tuesday in many of the lands down under in the different time zones. So they've completed the journey, and so for us, the journey ends this evening, and there's a lot of us that are really focusing in on offering those big containers of water that was holding all of that energy, for everybody around the planet. So that's powerful for me. And as I sit with that water and I channel all of the prayers, that's been added around the world, very powerful. The children's prayers, the grandparents' prayers, all of our prayers. And I just feel like there was a lot of prayers for the unborn. Really, really taking in consideration things that need to be changed here on our Mother Earth, in the human way, anyway. So yeah, it's a pretty powerful day. A lot of things are going on today, but I just wanted to maybe share. I'm not sure how to call this an origin, I guess, of our knowledge in the indigenous ways. Being an extended family for thousands and thousands of years, we've learned to integrate our knowledge and our spirit with the Mother Earth. And in my younger years, when I was old enough to really understand the origin of the Mother Earth, the beginning spirit of the Mother Earth. And I asked my elders, I said, so how did all of these things come to the planet? And how did everything come to the Mother Earth? And then they shared with me our creation story, the stories of old, they say, of how we gain knowledge about who we are, what we are, and why we are, not just us as humans, but everything, all the living creatures that live with us here on the planet. The winds, the sky, the air. And so they speak of these stories. And this morning, my ancestors, they told me to where are the stories? And I said, where are the stories? And then I thought, oh yeah, in my ceremonial shirt here, these are ribbons here. They're powerful reminders of how we understand the Mother Earth. And as you look, let me pull my hair back. As you look at these ribbons, they're 7 different colors, and in the stories that's told by our elders, they say in the beginning there were different nations that came to the planet, different nations from the stars that came to nurture the planet. And they said that the first instructions were the white ones. Where's the white ones? Way over here somewhere over there anyway, said the white one. And so the elders, they teach us about these colors. The first color that we acknowledged here on the planet was purity. It was a pure form of energy. It was brand new. It's almost kind of like prime knowledge, if you will, of what happened here on the planet in its beginning spirit. And so the elders, they share that knowledge, that wisdom with us. And they said, yeah, as we grew alongside of everything else that was emerging at that time, way back in the beginning of the planet's evolvement, is that we started to understand that there was an energy that was creating the planet, and the energy was pure. And what the elders, they call it pure form, pure energy. And so they teach us that in our life that we try to maintain that purity, and they teach us how to be pure, pure with our thoughts, pure with our intentions, pure with our movements and our energy. Is that we don't want to disturb any energies out there that doesn't need to be disturbed. We want to be a part of it, and we ask permission to be a part of it. So we don't alter the energies any more than needs to be for our existence here on this earth. These are just kind of thumbnail messages of knowledge, I guess, of what our elders teach us. And so the first one was purity. The second one was the red energy. And I said the red energy is how we're connected with all living things. It's the energy of our blood. That our blood carries a lot of energy. It's connected with all living things that has a bloodline to it. And I know I asked my elders, I said, well, what about the rocks? What about the mountain? All these other things. They say, well, when everything was created with a bloodline. And so we're connected with the rocks. We're connected with anything, all the plants that have what we would call a bloodline, the animals' bloodline, all the creatures in the sea, everything that has a bloodline, we're connected to. And so we're one with everything, is that we can communicate with everything. And so again, that's just a thumbnail example of what the teachings were. And then we go on to the blue. And the blue energy fields taught us about our feelings. And our elders say that's the most challenging one that we have as humans on this earth, is try to understand balance of feelings. And I said the plants, the animals, they already have that. But we're trying to figure out, well, how do we come into balance with our feelings and our emotions? And they say that the struggle of life is that you're going to learn those lessons. You're going to learn all the aspects of your feelings, the sadness, the happiness, the love, the compassion, or the hatred or anger, all those different things. We're going to learn all of that through our journey. But to master our feelings, it takes a lot of wisdom. It takes a lot of time and experience to really understand how do we come into balance with our own emotions. So what I mean by that is, like, how do we deal with the energies that's disruptive and balance it out with the love at the same time, so that we're not tilting either way, is that it's balanced. We understand that it needs to be this way, and to accept it and saying, okay, I'm looking at all things through the Creator's eyes, and everything is as perfect as ever needs to be right this second. And when we can see that in our emotional state, is that we become balanced with creation. Is that this is just the way it needs to be right now. It may change tomorrow. It may change in a couple of minutes, a couple of hours, or whatever. But every second, it needs to be this way. And so those are the teachings that our elders give us, is that, yeah, we become one with the energy at all given times. And again, this is just a thumbnail of the teaching. And then we go on to the green ribbon. It's the energy of the Mother Earth. This is a big one for our teachings, is like, okay, so how do we understand the Mother Earth? How do we understand that the Mother Earth is a breathing, I'm just going to say grandmother. When we connect with the Mother Earth's heartbeat, that's a challenge in its own. But those are the teachings that we go through as little ones to understand how to connect with the Mother Earth's heartbeat. And we sit upon her, we talk with her, we pray for her, we ask her to pray for us. And so there's a lot of teachings in the Mother Earth way to really understand what this planet is all about. All the creatures, the air, the sky, the winds, the rain, the snow, all of those elements that the earth produces for us. We're taught about all of that. And then we go over here to the yellow one. The teachings of the yellow one is the teachings of the holy ones, the teachings of the great spirits, the teachings of everything that's above us and within the Mother Earth, right? The soul of the Mother Earth. And so in the teachings, we're taught how to understand that outside realm out there, the holy realms. How do we really know that it's there? We can think about it and we can imagine it, but how do we really connect with it? And so the teachings of the yellow ones, that's where it comes into play, asking permission. Really understanding permission. What does that really mean when you're asking permission to connect with the holy ones? The other ones are the offerings. Right? We give offerings once we have permission. In some ways, somehow, instinctively, we know we're connected one-on-one. It could be through our third eye. It could be just through our heart space. It could be through anything. But we know that we're connected with the holy ones. And then we'll give an offering and a thank you for that connection. And I'm calling on the wisdom and the knowledge of all the ancient ones, all the ancient ancestors. And then we go into appreciation, gratitude for them sending the energy down through the ethers, if you will. And so the yellow one teaches us about the holy realms, all the sacred realms that are above us. It teaches how to connect with that. And whether it be going up in the mountains or going down by the oceans, a river, or just sitting on the Mother Earth with a tree or a rock or whatever, is that in the teachings our elders say, yeah, there's many, many ways to connect with the holy ones. And I say, learn your way, learn your way. And so these teachings, they take years to understand really the depth of all of the teachings. And then we go on over here to the pink one. And the pink is a teaching about relationship. It teaches us how to come together as two human beings on this planet and reproduce, if you will. But to truly understand how powerful that really is that relationship. It's bringing two individuals together, to produce a child, or like the plants and the animals. We have female plants, we have male plants, we have, obviously in the animal kingdom we have male and female animals. And so the teachings are more so about, well, what is that relationship that we have, not only with ourselves, but the relationship we have with all the things here on the planet. Again, these are just thumbnail examples. And then the last one here, the purple one, it teaches us about healing, about the energies of healing. And so in the sacred realms, we're taught that there are healers up there for everything that's ever been created. There's healers for the rocks, there's healers for the plants, there's healers for the animals, there's healers for the sky, there's healers for the rain and the snow. And so that's a very, very in-depth teaching as you get older, as our elders introduce us to more of the healing modalities in the indigenous ways. And like they start teaching us about protocols. They start teaching us about the wisdom of when you're calling in the healers. What exactly are you calling in? And what healers are you calling in? So these are our teachings that we live by, that was gifted to us way back in the beginning, the ancient ones. And as we began these videos and the teachings and stuff, that's what I'm referring to as the ancient ones who carried all of this knowledge right here. And that's what I pray with. I ask for more knowledge for my own growth. Is like I need to learn more about this. And so our extended families around the planet, the indigenous families, many of our creation stories refer to what I just mentioned. That's how we learn about the Mother Earth. That's how we learn about ourselves, our land, our plants, our animals, the sky, the wind, the air, everything. That's how we learn, is through the ancient teachings. And we never drifted away from the teachings. We always knew it because that's what we were taught when we were young. But in today's world, it's very challenging to try to go back to these original teachings, because sometimes when we look at purity, in the whole planet, in the whole globe, what happened to the purity? So we try to seek out the purity, amongst everything, and then it all kind of comes back to myself, is to create that purity inside of myself. And I pray for everything else to follow suit, but if it doesn't, it doesn't. That's just the way it needs to be. Or the blood, or the relationships, or the holy ones, or the healing aspects of whatever. These are the things that guide me to become a better human upon this planet. And I've tripped, stumbled, and fell quite a few times, understanding this journey of life. And kind of curiosity kind of got me into trouble sometimes, because I kind of guided away from this path. But it was a learning mechanism too. It was like, yeah, I had to learn my way. I had to learn what was right or wrong for me. And nobody could teach that to me except for myself. I had to experience all of that. But because of the elders' wisdom, the elders' knowledge, it kind of kept me on a sacred path in this life. And I remember one time, I wish this old grandma would have never told me this, but long time ago. Oh, I'm not sure. I was in my 20s. And, there's a whole brand new world out here. Everybody was partying around, and, it was back in the 60s and stuff. So the movement was going on, and, revolutions were happening and all this other stuff. And a part of me wanted to be a part of that. But there's one grandma, she stopped me in my tracks, and she says, you wanna hold all of this sacred in your heart? And I said, yeah. And she says, to keep yourself sacred, don't go anywhere you wouldn't take your own grandmother. And I thought, oh man. That kind of limits my my curiosity, I guess. And so as I grew up after she said that, then I would, there were a lot of parties going on back in the 60s and 70s. And it's kind of like, man, I know grandma wouldn't want to go there, but so it kept me out of trouble for the most part. I challenged it and kind of asked grandma. I said, okay, grandma, you stay over here. I'm going to go over here for a little bit. I'll be back. And those are the times that I would kind of get myself in trouble. But again, on a bigger picture, it was like kind of being whole as a person. It's like, who am I? What am I? Why am I? And without these teachings, I wouldn't be sitting here right now talking about all of these things that I've learned here upon the planet. And that's because of the extended family environment. The elders teaching us a lot of hours, a lot of days, a lot of months, a lot of years. It took to really absorb what the elders were teaching. And so I wear this shirt today, proudly, because my journeys, I've learned as much as I could about all of these teachings. And sometimes it was a lonely journey, or nobody else could teach me that. I had to go out into the elements and speak with the elements to teach me some of these attributes of those old ancient knowledges. So again, we come together at this time in our lives. This is 2021. So where are we going from here? Each one of us, where are we going from this day out there to maybe the end of this year? What are we going to be doing? What are we going to change in our lives that makes us a better person? And for me, it's I need to make myself a better person and understand what that really means for me before I can offer any wisdom or any advice to somebody that asks me a question. I need to learn that before I can express, that knowledge. If I come across someone who asks me a question about something that I haven't really learned, and then I'll say, well, I'm not really sure about that. Maybe you need to go talk to a grandmother or a grandfather that has more wisdom than I do. And I don't know. It's a beautiful planet when you learn about this. Very, very powerful planet. Very nurturing. Very compassionate. The Mother Earth will give anything to us when we ask permission. She'll feed us, she'll clothe us, she'll shelter us, she'll give us everything and anything we need, because once we understand all of this energy, we give it back to her. And the Mother Earth is appreciative. It's like taking care of a big, massive grandmother. And the grandmother spirit is very, very powerful. And but we recognize all of this in the old teachings. So today, We're joining in with World Water Day. We're offering, prayers for our water, the purity of water, the sustainability of water, clean water for all of our children, plants, and animals. And so that's in the forefront of today's prayers. And then this evening, as we end the equinox cycle, all of the waters that we held for the 5 days, just absorbing the prayers, absorbing the energy, we'll give that back to the Mother Earth this evening at our sunset. And then again, we'll ask the Grandfather Sun to take our prayers, take all of these prayers of all the people around the world. They're all here in this water. We ask you to take their prayers and shine them all the way around the world for all of us to benefit from. And it's like all of the children's prayers, thousands of children, hundreds of thousands of children, maybe, I don't know. And all of the grandparents and great grandparents, and all the elders praying with us, and all of us in between. Very powerful prayers. And we've been guided by the holy ones. This is what they ask us to do. So we did it. We all did it together. We just followed our guidance and said, okay, well, let's create this, so that we can all benefit from it. So I really, really want to thank our background crew, putting these videos together and all of the technical challenges that we had to go through. And Jigna, she was kind of like at the forefront of all, putting together the websites. And then here's Rosa in the background trying to get the emails ready to go and all this other stuff. That's some challenging stuff. To me, it's kind of like, all right, we've done this before. It's pretty simple. But years ago, when we were doing the big worldwide ceremonies, it was a lot easier technologically than it is in today's world. There are so many advancements and so many options and so many things you have to put in sequence in order for something to work at the other end. For me, it's mind-boggling. It's like, just do it. Should be simple. Just do it. Yeah, we need videos over on this page. Just link it over there. I don't know how you do it. Just do it. But that's all out of my field of knowledge. Maybe I should go and get some more ribbons and start learning about technology. Put another ribbon on here. I don't know what that ribbon would look like. Maybe just a light, like a lightning bolt or something. I don't know. So anyway, we try to have fun and find the joy along the way, and give some knowledge through story of how we can be better people. And I'm not saying that what we're suggesting is the ultimate way. This is just one way that we can all come together. But it's up to you as individuals, which journey you want to, or what path you want to take. We're just adding to your path. This might help you out. It might help in the healing, for yourself, your family, your homes, your communities, your environment. And so these practices, they're like spiritual practices. And again, we reiterate, permission, offerings, calling in the ancestors for help, the holy ones, and then the gratitude at the end, thanking them all for coming in and helping us out, in whatever aspect that we're asking for. And very, very simple teaching, but very, very powerful. In my healing work, when somebody asked me for healing, and I immediately sit with them and we call in all of their ancestors and ask for permission to call in all of their ancestors to work with my ancestors. And then we go on from there to find out, well, what are the ancestors saying? What does this person need? And so they tell us, and then we work out the kinks or work out the problems as we go along. I'm asking the Holy Ones. I said, okay, so how or what do we need to do to continue this energy on for the people's wave of love? And they show a lot of different options out there that can help us. I'm asking the Holy Ones to send me a videographer that can maybe capture some ceremonies that I want to portray, like the water wheel ceremonies. I've had a lot of people asking me about water wheel ceremonies, and the response was amazing. And I've done some videos before, but I haven't actually had the resources to actually film the creation of a water wheel. And that's what I want to do. I have some people in the background that are willing participants. They said, oh yeah, where do we go? What do we do? And so they're all excited. So it's taking time to organize them, and kind of going through some teachings, and getting them to maybe make a 40-foot diameter water wheel and have it videoed and explain step by step of how we do that energy field on the Mother Earth. And that's always been in my heart to do, is to capture all of that. We might have to have 3 or 4 cameras around that setting to capture all of the different angles of creating a water wheel. That's kind of high on my list to do for the Holy Ones. The other ones are continuing on building the wave. You out there, you people, all of us together, we're the ones that create the wave. And so I'm hoping by the time June comes and the solstice comes in June, we'll have a massive, massive tidal wave going across the planet with all of our prayers. And so in the meantime, between now and the solstice in June, there's several other aspects that are coming into play too. It's like learning how to work with the moon, all the different aspects of the moon, the full moon, the new moon, the different quadrants of the moon. I think I may produce some videos about that, of what we can do during the full moon, what we can do during the new moon. Years ago when we were building the creation of the water wheels, everyone who has a water wheel, we ask them to join together at the full moon and at the new moon, and just go out and sit with your water wheel and just offer your prayers to the water. And so that's been going on since 2005. So every full moon, every new moon, we have a lot of people around the world praying for the water already. And so today, World Water Day, it just kind of emphasizes all of that energy. And so those are the things that I want to share too, is how powerful the water wheels are. And my belief as a human being walking upon this planet, water, because of the teachings, water is the most powerful medicine that we have on this planet. And the water creates the medicines that we use. It's like right now, something comes to mind. The vaccines were created for the pandemic, but how was it created? It was created out of water. Water started all the evolvement, all the plants, the animals. And so the scientists come together and they put all of those things together that water created. And then, we have a vaccine. But again, without water, there'd be no reason to be here on this planet. Nothing would grow. We wouldn't have the winters. We wouldn't have the snow. We wouldn't have the rain to nurture the grasses, the trees, the planet, the lands. So without water, nothing happens. And so in our teachings, the grandmothers, grandfathers, I shared this in videos way back, is that, the old grandpa, he said, yeah, you never ever put anything in the water that's going to harm or weaken the water. That's the main teaching. Never put anything in the water that will harm the energy of that water. Because really think about this. When water is in its purest crystalline form, and the energy is just pure crystalline energy, that's in its natural form. And as it runs down the mountains, the beginning source of the water, and as it runs down through the tributaries and waterways and into rivers and lakes and streams and stuff like that. When the water is powerful, everything that drinks of that water becomes equally powerful. But when we misuse that energy and we start putting things in it to alter that energy, once we alter the energy, then everything else becomes altered. Right? Does that make sense? Like if we put a dam in the middle of a river, and that water isn't allowed to flow freely, didn't we just alter the energy? So it weakened the waters. And then we started putting pipes, and we started putting this, and we started putting all these things into the water. And for years, hundreds of years. And this is what the old grandpa was talking about. He said, yeah, never ever put anything in the waters to weaken the water. Because if the water gets weak, everything, we all get weak, the animals get weak, our lands get weak. And then this is where I'm at today of what he said. He says, if the water gets sick, we're going to have big problems. Big problems. And that's where we're at today. I mean, we've created too many obstacles for the water to flow freely. Is that we made the water sick because of our inventions and trying to harness the waters and make it do something that it doesn't want to do. And so it's just like us. If we were forced to do something we want to do, we don't feel good about that. That's the way the water feels. It's like, why are you doing this to us? Why are you doing this to the waters? And so again, this might be a little abstract for a lot of people to grasp onto, but when you really look at energy, the reality of energy, we don't want to weaken the energies, we want to enhance it. We want to make water powerful again so that our lands can start growing and thriving and being very powerful. The plants would be powerful, the vegetables would be very powerful, and our animals would be very powerful. We'll be very powerful. And so in our local communities, in our local places, we can do that. We look at the whole picture in the process of the world, and that's immense. That's where the holy ones come in. We just, ask for prayers for all these different places around the planet that are having problems with their water. That's all we can do on a global scale out there, just offer our intentions and offer our prayers of love and compassion. But we can do even more in our own homelands because we're physically there. We can physically go and talk with the people who are managing our waters, our public utility system and stuff like that, and explain to them. But if we don't and we just let it go, then we're going to get sicker and sicker and sicker. So it's up to us as individuals whether we want to continue to stay sick or clean up our waters. But it's up to you. I can't do that for you. I do it for myself. But I've found systems, water filters. Oh, here comes the sun again. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And that feels good. But again, the purity of the sun shining on the waters, For me, that's magnificent. It's energy. And right now, as the sun's shining on my face, it's also shining on the altar out there where the water containers are. And so I feel the energy going into those water containers. It's making the water very, very powerful. It's making all of our prayers very, very powerful. And so when you can feel that deep within inside of yourself, yeah, as humans, we have to stand up for our water. Or that's what I believe anyway. Whether anybody else believes that way too, that I can't force anybody to believe that way. But because of my teachings, yeah, we never want to harm the water. So again, as we journey forward into the future, we're going to be coming back, in interims. Who knows? Maybe once a week, every couple of weeks, whatever. But we're just going to absorb all of this energy that just happened in these past 5 days. That's a lot of energy to absorb, to acclimate to. And so in that absorption, in our minds, we're looking at, a bigger picture, working out of the box, because that's what it does for us. It just opens up our minds to the bigger evolvement of this planet, and the bigger ways to offer help wherever we need to make this a better place for the unborn, make it a better place for all of our children. I could go on and on and on and on and on. I like to share a story. Oh, I ask blessings for each one of you that's watching this right now with me. I offer my prayers, my blessings to wherever you are on the planet. And to really think about the future, really think about your lives, of how to make it a better place, not only for you, but a better place for all living things. Yesterday, I think we mentioned, make a sacred place in your home. Make a sacred temple in your home where all the holy ones can come in. And if you can do that much, you'll have a powerful life. Always asking permission, going in and out of your home, washing your face, washing your dog. That was a funny story. There's one lady, she called and she says, I have 2 dogs and I got to wash them. Do I need to ask permission? I said, for permission for what? She says, well, I don't know. Do I ask the dogs permission to give them a bath? And I said, well, that's probably what I would do, but sometimes people get a little, I'm not going to say they get carried away, but for me, that's what I would do. I'd ask permission to wash my dog or my cow or my giraffe, or my elephant, or, my alligator or whatever, especially alligator. But again, it's just using our energy in the most respectful way. Is that we're moving energy and we're asking permission to do that before we move it. So yeah, call in the ancestors of your dogs, both on their mother and their father's side, and ask them permission to give them a bath. Yeah, very simple. So again, as we mentioned before, there's no right way or wrong way of understanding all of this. It's your way of how you understand the energies and what's the most benevolent outcome for yourself. And the rest of the world, we just ask the Creator and the Holy Ones and all the sacred realms that, we see things, we're acknowledged of things that we see or we think we see that needs to be changed. And that's what we offer up to the Holy Ones. We see all of the poverty around the planet. We see all of the crime around the planet. We see all of the things that are going on with immigration around the planet, all these other things. Those are broader spectrums of our knowledge, things that we know that if we're hoping maybe change one day. But for right now, we see it's happening. And so we lend our energy to the Holy One and say, yeah, I'm really concerned, about the immigration and all the people who are suffering there, especially the children and the elders, or, our different countries. We all have different issues in our different countries. But again, it's up to us to change all of that. We just ask the Holy Ones to come in and maybe change some of the things that we're asking to be changed. So again, blessings to Rosa and her journey and her families in Albuquerque and Jigna and her boys and all of her family there up in Seattle and the extensions. And I just ask a blessing for everybody's day. Really, really, really have a happy day. Don't worry about anything else. Goldie wants to come over. And Jesus, you're the only one that can create happiness. Nobody else can create it for you. They can add to your happiness, but your happiness starts within your heart, within your soul. And she says, just keep on smiling, find the joy. That's your job starting today. Find the joy. That's all you have to do. Find the joy, find the joy, find the joy. And then she says, you'll have a happy life. Don't find the obstacles, don't find the struggles. Don't put yourself in predicaments that aren't going to benefit you. Just find the joy. Sit on a log with a frog, talk to the frog, do whatever that finds you joy. So Goldie's going to be watching out over all of you too. And, if you need help from Goldie, you ask permission. Ask permission to Goldie's ancestors, both on her mother and her father's side. And just ask her. You say, okay, Goldie, I'm not sure, whatever, but I'm asking you for help. And Goldie would bring in the grandmothers and the grandfathers, and she'll share with you what you need for that present moment. Yeah. She's a galactic traveler, she says. She not only helps people here on this planet, but she helps other beings on other planets too. So she's a busy character. So Goldie wants to say, yeah, I love you all. I just want you all to be happy. Find the joy. And that comes from me too. I do this to try to encourage people to be happy, to be joyful. Let go of all the stress. Don't create any stress. If you have stress now, get it, put that stress aside, put it in a dumpster and let it go to the landfill. Or whatever you need to do to get rid of that stress. So again, thank you until we join together again. Every day, every morning, it's up to you. Go out, sit with the sun, ask for whatever you need for that day or for this day. And I'll be talking in the background, sitting with the Holy Ones and Goldie and all my ancestors and everything, and say, okay, so where do we go from here? What we need to be doing? And so, my aspects again is, we're wanting to produce more videos. So with that being said, today use your energy for the waters all over the planet, especially in your own homelands, in your own hometowns, your cities, or wherever you're living, your farms or whatever, ranches, wherever you are. Pray for the water. Pray for powerful water to come into your existence. You can do that. So Goldie says, okay, Marshall, we got to go. I don't know where we're going, but we're going somewhere, I guess. So blessings all around. Oh.
Okay. Thank you so much, Marshall. And I'm going to post a link to donate, just a reminder that we do need equipment and things so that Marshall can keep producing videos and maybe have some videos of creating a water wheel and places around the island. Me and Jigna are volunteers, and this is the best we can do right now. We're going to keep improving our skills so we can keep bringing you videos of Marshall. But I am going to post a donation page in the chat. And I think Marshall has a birthday coming up in a few days, or maybe tomorrow. So hold him in your heart and wish him a happy birthday. And if you want to give him a birthday present, you can donate to the People's Wave of Love if you feel called. So I just want to put that out there and say thank you again, Marshall, for sharing your time with us and sharing your stories and all the wisdom. Thank you, Goldie. Thank you, Jigna, for making this happen too.
All right. Blessings all around from Hawaii. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. There's no cloud, there's no rain expected. So my challenge today is to find a beach where I can go lay in the sun and maybe talk with a turtle. That's my job today. So anyway, have a beautiful day and we'll see you again soon. Aho.